Hello, everybody. Welcome to MAWS Talks Wrestling. We are your hosts. I am Lunakage.
And I'm Glenburg. What's up, everyone?
And we are just how many days? Let's see. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we are 4 days away from WrestleMania,
Showcase of the Immortals.
the showcase of Daniel Bryan, the showcase of Evolution.
Right, and Triple H and Friends.
Triple H and Friends. So it's a lot of things have happened that basically it really got flipped the script because a lot of the things we were expecting, like all throughout, basically, well, at the very least, this show's existence, all the things that we were expecting are pretty much not happening because, and a lot of it, I imagine, has to do with the Daniel Bryan situation because since the Royal Rumble, they've just been, like changing everything up to try and fix things, and that's good. And like it's really weird because we figured for sure that we'd be having a Shield triple threat, maybe for the title, because they were going to break up. But no, instead the Shield's still together, and now they got a six-man tag team match with the Outlaws and Kane. And I'm not sure if that's going to be an amazing match or anything because basically the other team. But I mean, the track record that the Shield has had with six-man tags, as far as good matches go, I'm sure if anyone can get a good match out of those three guys, who are past their prime, to say the least, it's going to be the Shield.
I expected a stipulation in that match, to be honest. It was just kind of like a regular wrestling match.
Yeah, it was just kind of thrown together. Also, we did find out on Raw that the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match will be on the pre-show. So, but they consider it, they made a special note. They consider it still a WrestleMania match, kind of like how I was, we were talking about last week, how, it's still at WrestleMania, guys, something like that. Yeah. But they actually made a point to mention that. So it's more or less going to be a free WrestleMania match as opposed to just a pre-show match. And the thing I think, a lot of people will say, well, what's the difference? The thing I think the difference is that since they're pushing it as an actual pay-per-view match, it's actually a WrestleMania match, guys, you're just getting it for free, then to me that says they're actually going to give us a pay-per-view quality match. It's not just going to be a 7-minute pre-show match that was okay. It's actually, because it's a Fatal 4-Way match. It could be long. It's the pre-show. They could give us 30 minutes for that match alone. I doubt they will, but they could. You know what I mean?
Another thing I just thought about was, being that it would be at the stage of WrestleMania, that can be like a last-minute chance to get people to, sign up for the network if they were still on the fence, or, get a pay-per-view.
Right, pretty
okay,
much.
Well, this is a taste of WrestleMania. Now you either continue with the subscription or nope.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. It should be a stellar match, for the tag team championships too.
Right, I don't, I don't know exactly what the plan is. It seemed like it was kind of a thrown together thing, but they did at least try to give it a little bit of importance. And that's another thing we were fully expecting the New Age Outlaws versus the Usos.
Right.
But instead, or at least New Age Outlaws being involved in the Fatal 4-Way, but instead we got, them in the Shield match, and then this Fatal 4-Way involving, it really seems like to me that they're going for the most superstars that they've ever had on a card for this card. And I think that's one of the reasons why they made sure to stress that the Fatal 4-Way was happening at WrestleMania, because they want to include them on that card. Because what it looks like to me, with the Fatal 4-Way tag team match, it's already 8 people. The 30-man Battle Royal, it's 30 more people.
Mhm.
The six-man tag team match, six more people.
Mhm.
And all these people are supposed to be different.
Yeah, it's not
And
like there's only some rare cases like if you see a Daniel Bryan pop up again in a match or
right.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and the triple threat match, and then including, Daniel Bryan, Triple H. Those two matches are four people. Um, John Cena and Bray Wyatt, two more people. It's one of the few singles matches on this card.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually looking like a pretty good show, if not for straight up wrestling. It's definitely the least of what we expected to get as far as, oh shit, they're just giving us Randy Orton versus Batista, so now it's suddenly just going to be fucking 2007 WWE now. um, like we got some fresh matchups. I mean, Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, we've obviously never seen that before. And then whoever makes it in the main event, we haven't seen that match before either. Um, if Triple H does end up in the main event, then it's going to be very similar to the kind of matches we've seen before. But I actually have my own theory on that. I think, I don't think Triple H is going to win. I don't. But if he does, Daniel Bryan's still going to be in the main event somehow, either making it a fatal four-way or maybe Hulk Hogan overturning the decision. I don't know, but there's no way Daniel Bryan's not going to be in the main event. It would just be impossible. Straight up impossible.
After all it is, they making it look like he's not going to get it, like Elimination Chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. We got a lot of interesting matches going on, and a lot of them could be considered high profile just because of the people that are in it. I mean, John Cena's not in the main event, but he's facing Bray Wyatt, an up-and-comer and stuff. That match is just good based on the impact alone. Like, I can't say it's going to be a good match. I don't know. I'm hoping it is, because both Bray Wyatt and John Cena have kind of, they've been really good this year, I think.
True.
At least since I've been watching them. So I think the match is bound to be good. I hope Bray Wyatt wins, but regardless of who the winner is, like, the match has a big fight feel. Like, they've actually been building up the match. The triple threat or the fatal four-way, whichever one it ends up being, that's going to be a big epic match. Like, it does really seem like Daniel Bryan is just thrown in, though, and that's what happened, though. So you can't really, because the thing is, the feud between Triple H and Daniel Bryan, that's been built up.
Uh-huh.
So that match is going to be good. It's going to be a big match. It's going to be it's definitely going to be a good match. It's Daniel Bryan and Triple H. He still can work. Then the triple threat. I mean, Daniel Bryan hasn't really been built in that situation, and that is a little worrying, because the only things that have been built have been Daniel Bryan and Triple H, and then Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista. I mean, Daniel Bryan's barely really been involved in the things that are going on with that particular group.
It's been kind of like between an evolution storyline between Batista, Orton, and Triple H. Like, that's pretty much been that case, and Daniel Bryan's kind of been on the outside, just trying to get in.
I mean, as much as I want Daniel Bryan to be in that match, it just really seems like he hasn't really had a reason to be in that match, other than the fact that all the fans want him in that match.
Uh-huh.
Which I guess is fine, but at the same time, like, they never even tried to build up Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton, Batista. They didn't try to build it up at all. They've built up Triple H versus Randy Orton versus Batista, but they've never built up Daniel Bryan with anybody but Triple H coming into this scenario. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be good if Daniel Bryan wins it, and I'm hoping he does. But as far as the build-up goes,
what happens to Batista after all it is? Because I know they brought him back with the intention of at least, I'm pretty sure they didn't want to bring him back just to be dead weight in a match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, they've changed up so many things. I feel like nothing's set in stone right now.
Yeah, everything changes in wrestling. Nothing is ever certain.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we should do predictions.
Right, right.
Which all right. So first we got the pre-show. We got the Fatal 4-Way Tag Match. What do you think?
I feel like the Usos should retain it just because that'd be their WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
And they are like one of the best teams in the WWE right now. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're a team that deserves to only hold it for a month. It's not, they're not paper champions. They're actually legit.
Right. I'm I also kind of place my bets on those guys too. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Usos retaining. I think uh, it's also going to help fuel the breakup of the Real Americans
Right.
because they're not sticking around for too long.
Yeah, they're kind of just on and off right now.
Right. So yeah, I'm going with the Usos too. I mean, Los Matadores, they're not going to win that anytime
They're
soon.
not believable for me. As for a WrestleMania match, that's not believable. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they can definitely go. Like they've had entertaining matches and shit, but you know, their whole gimmick, they're not gonna really. I don't see them being the tag team champions until they get bored of having real teams being the tag team champions. And as bad as that sounds, it's not like I don't like the Matadores, but that's really just how it is. Like
The gimmick team.
yeah, like that. Like just the thing that comes to mind was La Resistance.
La
You know,
Resistance with mask.
right. The only time they ever had the tag team titles were when they didn't want the tag team titles on anybody in particular. You know, so they just had the tag team titles.
I remember that time. Anyone can have them.
And that's kind of because like they're a very particular gimmick. The Usos, sure, they're Samoans, but that's not exactly what they're all about. You know, like they do the whole tribal thing at the beginning of their intro,
Right.
but
But they're not going Umaga on us or anything.
right, yeah, they're not walking stereotypes either, because like you know right after that part of their entrance is over, you know it kicks in with the hip hop and stuff, and you know they're not walking around being managed by some dude, and you know they can't talk, they just grunt and stuff, and they're wearing like skirts made out of leaves,
That,
you know.
what about
It's
the one tag team back then? I was like that. That was Samoan, like the old school Raw days.
the I know exactly who you're talking about.
It starts with H, I believe.
I forget the actual team name, but I do know it had Haku in it.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah. I forget the name of the team though, but yeah, shit, yeah, I can't even remember. But yeah, like gimmick tag teams, they're not as prevalent as they used to be.
Yeah.
Like they only get the titles. Like the gimmick tag teams have always just been paper champions ever since the Attitude Era. Really, I mean, the Attitude Era when they gave us you know tag teams that were just defined by the crazy shit they did, like
the
Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, that never even had a team name. They were just a team.
Just self-entitled.
Right, and then you know Dudley Boys and stuff. Like after that, you know there were no other tag teams that were gimmick heavy that had any substantial tag team reigns that meant anything. I believe, you know that was also the era that brought us the New Age Outlaws, and those two were definitely not a gimmick tag team. Like I mean, sure they were outlaws, but it's not like, you know, I mean, they were dudes that talk shit. You know, that was pretty much it. You can't really call that a gimmick along the lines of the Los Matadores.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Usos on that match, and you said you're going with the Usos there too.
Correct.
All right. So now we got the 30-man battle royal, and this is going to be a little bit harder to judge because we only know very few people from it. But at the same time, I also doubt that someone who wasn't advertised for it will win it, you know, unless they want to legitimately surprise us by throwing in somebody like Alexander Rusev and then having him win it or something.
Right, just a surprise entrance. Well, obviously, the kayfabe choice that they're teasing is Big Show.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I don't know if they're treating this like a. Well, usually they would have a guy in mind to want to win this thing, but I don't know if they'll have it random since this is the first time they're doing it.
Well, I mean, I think that, there's. It would be nice if they actually tried to build somebody through it instead of giving it to Big Show, because why?
Just because, oh my God, he's the closest thing we have to Andre the Giant.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. But I mean, Big Show's on the way out. I don't really want to, I don't even know why he would possibly want to win it. Because his whole deal right now is to actually put people over at this point. Like, because he's on his way out.
Right.
And he's still a big dude. He's still a big giant. So, people beating Big Show, it's still considered a big deal, even though Big Show hasn't really won any high-profile matches in a long time.
Uh-huh.
But beating a giant is still always a big achievement, especially if you're a little dude. So I'm kind of hoping they give it to somebody who's not big, but like give it to Ziggler or Cody. Shit.
Yeah, Ziggler. They said he was emotional about it. But yeah, looking at everybody in it right now, it looks like, yeah, it's not really it's not like the Royal Rumble where you have an idea. Okay, this is their guy that they want to put the belt on. This is kind of like an honor that they're getting. It's not the championship, so it can kind of go to anybody.
I'm gonna go just out of the people we got. I might have to go with Big E, actually.
I was looking at him too.
Because he's a really big, strong guy, and all the other guys that I would have wanted to be in it are out in that tag team match now. And I'm wondering who they're gonna get to fill those extra slots. Holy shit! Are they just gonna? There's even more now. I mean, it's a 30-man battle royal, and they haven't announced, all that many guys for it, and a lot of the ones they did announce are now in the tag team match.
So is it going to be like free agents going on this thing?
It could possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple of NXT guys in it. We might end up seeing some old school jobbers. Well, not old school, but some jobbers that don't mean much at all. Like, I could see Alex Riley showing up, or maybe even Tyson Kidd, Yoshitatsu. Maybe throw in a diva, because why not? That'd be the perfect time for Karma to show up again. Make her re-debut, have her actually win the thing. Wouldn't that be fucking silly?
That would be, yeah. She'd be the right woman to put in it, because we don't have China, but I don't think Tamina could be in this 100%.
So, barring any surprise entrant, I'm gonna go with Big E.
Kind of. You know what?
I don't think Kana's gonna be in it.
Kana's. Did you say Kana, the Japanese? Right?
Yeah, because what you said, kinda, it sounded like you said Kana.
The hell, that'd be funny as hell.
Yeah, she shows up, beats everyone's ass.
Right, that's the Joker thing. I'm the Andre the Giant Cup winner.
Right.
I guess I'll roll with. I don't really have a clear choice, but I'll go ahead with Big E too, because he's a believable choice.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Intercontinental title, so but at the same time, if he's in it, you would want your current champion to win, wouldn't you? But
right.
I don't know. It's it really disappoints me that they're not doing anything with the mid-card titles at WrestleMania again.
Right, because they can't just unify them. What if this was a unification match for the Intercontinental United States title instead? How do you think that'd go? If the Battle Royal was just a unification match?
Well, then obviously Dean Ambrose would have to be in it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I want them to do stuff. And it's cool, though, because on the recent episode of Main Event, they had Dolph Ziggler versus Big E for the title. And it was a good match.
Uh-huh.
And Big E retained. But at the same time, this is your secondary title now. It goes Intercontinental and then WWE Championship again.
Yeah.
So you want it to be a little bit bigger of a deal, and I can see that you're trying to build it up by having these good matches surrounding it. But you can't just have good matches. You got to have big matches too. Like, fucking you can't
something memorable at the same time.
You can't just have Big E defend it every week on Main Event and expect us to care because it's Main Event. It's the C show. It's like who's really going to be paying a lot of attention to that.
Kind of irony is it's called Main Event, but it's really the mid card.
Yeah, it's not the Main Event at all. Yeah, like I would have loved to see that on WrestleMania. Give us Dolph Ziggler versus Big E. Give us a storyline surrounding it. Neither one has to be heel, but like they have a past together, so you could have easily done something like that. But yeah, I just want to see the Intercontinental title being treated like it's the number 2 title again. And I know it's going to be a long time before it gets that way. And you could tell, like, Dolph Ziggler's heart was slowly breaking during that match because now he's, jobbing in the main event of Main Event for the Intercontinental title now when he was a former world champion.
The main event of Main Event.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But as far as the Battle Royal goes, I'm going to go with Big E unless, like, some guy. It doesn't count if it turns out some guy that hasn't been announced wins it, because how are we supposed to know?
Right. I mean, I guess the choice right now, I'll just tag along with Big E as well, but I don't know. It's not something that I'm promising him to win because
Right.
I do hope it has some element of surprise to it.
Right.
And it's not the Big Show who just wins it. Like, oh my God, yeah, we didn't need to do this,
Yeah, it would be worthless. It wouldn't really build anybody. And even though Big E is a champion, he still kind of needs more. He kind of needs credibility. He's still rising up the ranks. He's a mid-card champion in a mid-card that doesn't really do anything. And he's a big dude. He kind of needs to be considered a threat. But he's not just a big dude that walks around being a monster, and I do like that about him because, he at least tries to have some charisma, and it's kind of hard for him because I hear he's a funny dude in real life. I hear he's really funny.
I know the promos he did when he was with AJ, he probably, that was some of his personality. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah. But, when you give him the mic after a match, like I hate when they do that with anybody because I think it's stupid. You're basically saying, here, after this hard athletic competition, when you're breathing so hard you can't get out all your words, here's a mic. Let's have you cut a promo. Like they do that a lot. It's not just with Big E, but when you're giving the mic to a guy that, doesn't have it on the mic yet, and you give it to him after he gets done with a match, it's kind of, it's not helping his case very much. When he's like,
I'm just gonna keep
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for, it's not a good look. That's what I'm saying.
Are you breathing, sweating? Yeah, I
Yeah,
know what
like
you mean.
it's, like you could give the mic to CM Punk after a match, and it would still be annoying to listen to because it's fucking, he's gonna be breathing hard as fuck.
Thanks, Renee.
Right, basically. I think the Andre Battle Royal would actually mean more if the prize was to have a date with Renee Young.
Right.
I think that would be a lot more special.
Sounds like something out of SmackDown versus Raw.
Right. I mean, shit, I'd find a way to get into that match if that was the case.
Hell yeah. One of the best things about WWE. So yeah, let's move on to.
Who's next?
Well, we don't know the exact order of what's going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Another match that's going to happen is John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, and we touched on this a little earlier. It's got a nice storyline going up into it. I like it. Each guy has gotten their fair share of one up on the other guy.
Yeah.
So it's been an even field. We saw John Cena getting really old school
Uh-huh.
on the last Raw. You know, he was using profanity.
Right, right.
You know, he was as aggressive as like I can remember him being like back in the day. So
Ruthless
I like
aggression.
that.
Yeah.
Right, I like that a lot. It was nice. It was a nice return. But yeah, as far as the winner goes, I've still got to go with Bray Wyatt. He hasn't won. He hasn't lost a singles match yet, and I don't even think he's been pinned. I think in the tag team matches that he's lost, I'm pretty sure his partner was pinned, but I can't say that for sure. But I do know that he's never lost a singles match, and you know, like it's gonna be one good way to skyrocket him into the main event picture by having him beat Cena, because he already beat Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
And
Cena is the guy to kind of put people over at this point. I'm
yeah,
guessing. I mean, when I look at both people, Cena really has nothing to lose. I mean, hell, they let him lose against The Rock at the
yeah.
first WrestleMania. He still won after that, but I think Bray Wyatt is the one that needs to really win this match.
I
You
mean,
know,
wouldn't it be interesting though if this is how we finally get our Cena heel turn? And I
right?
don't mean having him join the Wyatt family, because I think that'd be stupid. I don't think anybody should join the Wyatt family. Like they're a 3-man group, and it
They're
definitely should not be the NWO. You know, like shit.
they're perfect the way they are, cause you got Luke Harper, who's kind of like the vice president of the Wyatt family. He talks
Yeah,
sometimes. He puts on some innovative stuff for a big dude, and then Eric Rowan just wears a sheet mask and
yeah.
it's kind of like an enforcer.
Yeah, but as far as the Wyatts go, it really does kind of feel like they're past the point of being able to get a mid card title.
Uh-huh.
It seems like if Bray Wyatt gets a championship anytime soon, it's probably going to be the WWE title.
Uh-huh.
But that's just assuming that they keep going with this momentum, because he's already beaten Daniel Bryan. It would if he beats John Cena and Daniel Bryan wins the title, you know, he could easily just say, "Yeah, you know, I already have a win over Daniel Bryan, so shouldn't that mean I get to have a shot?"
That's the thing I
Maybe.
like. That's the thing I like about the Wyatt family. They have enough of a presence to interrupt anyone. Like, it don't feel like, oh, I need to wait my turn on the ladder to get a title shot. It's like
Yeah.
they can just do that, death,
Right.
and then now your title celebration is over.
I mean, you know, technically that's everybody though, because in
Yeah.
wrestling, if somebody has a title, all you got to do is like, you know, ambush him, and then like he'll hate you and want to fight you, and then at the pay-per-view, suddenly his title's on the line. You know, it seems like a really cheap way to do it. And you
Yeah.
got guys like Dolph Ziggler who never get title shots. You know, Dolph, all you got to do is just, you know, attack the champion from behind, and then you're going to get your shot at the next pay-per-view. That's all it takes.
Right.
In kayfabe, of course, like obviously, but like that
Jump someone.
really seems like that's all it takes, is to either be John Cena or beat up the champion. That's really all it takes.
Yeah. John Cena can keep living on even if he
Right.
loses. He said it might introduce some hill elements. We don't know. I mean,
I mean,
what are they gonna?
maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
because this is they're building it up to be about John Cena's legacy.
Uh-huh.
So if he loses, what does that mean? He loses his legacy? Like, it really seems like the kind of thing that they're building up, either a storyline where, oh, John Cena defends his legacy, so he wins, or have him lose at a moment where apparently his legacy's on the line. So what does that do? Maybe it'll like kind of be about John Cena's mental state. Maybe he'll start like, you know, not necessarily go back to Thugonomics, because, you know, they couldn't really do it like that. Maybe he just becomes this fucking heel guy now. Like, now he's just starting to beat people up. I don't know. Like, how would you do a heel Cena character at this point? I don't know. But like, where would you go if John Cena loses in the match to defend his legacy? You know, like, are you just going to have another WrestleMania 28 to 29 situation where suddenly Cena's losing all these matches, but he's got to stay strong and never give up?
That's true.
I mean, I don't know.
I
Like,
know. No,
I'm kind of I'm hoping for nothing but good things out of this, and I guess we'll see. And I'm kind of looking forward to this match, and I never thought I'd say that about a John Cena match.
Yeah, I think in the end, if Cena ends up losing, he has to hold on, I'm trying to think of what I wanted to say about that. But yeah, Cena, he's the one that they can make him look like he's going down a dark path or whatever.
Right. Like, and again, not necessarily join the Wyatt family because I kind of don't want that to happen. But yeah, it would be nice to see, a heel Cena. I mean, at this point, because it's clear that they're trying to push Cena out of the main event now, because he's trying to put new people over and all that kind of thing, just to show that they can do it, I guess. So they're trying to make sure Cena's not the guy who's in the main event and then suddenly he can't wrestle anymore. So now, panic, we got to find new guys. They're actually trying to build a new main event scene for the day to come soon, I believe.
Yeah, because
John Cena's no able to do it.
Because if you let Cena win again, and what's he gonna do the rest of the year? He fought about everyone on the roster that's considered a big deal at this point multiple times.
Yeah.
So Bray Wyatt, like I said, I can actually see him with the WWE title too. He's convincing as a heel champion.
Oh, how about this? This is a fucked up idea. This will never happen, by the way. John Cena goes heel, and then after the Real Americans break up, have John Cena and Jack Swagger start teaming up, and then they can be the new Real Americans. Because John Cena is this patriot dude. He could kind of be like, when Sergeant Slaughter was a heel. He's still going to be this righteous dude, except he's going to be righteous in all the wrong directions.
Oh.
He's not
awful evil or something.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Like he's I don't know. It's so hard to write a John Cena heel character nowadays because it just doesn't happen unless you're going to just bring him back to the heel thugonomics. But why would you do that? It's already been done. You might as well go a new route with it.
No, I agree with you. But in the end, yes. I guess I'm going with Bray Wyatt as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt. All right, so now we got. The Divas.
Yeah, Divas.
The Divas. What was it called?
Vicky Guerrero Divas Championship Invitational.
Oh yeah, that's what it was called.
It's a long ass title. Damn.
So, who do you think's gonna win that?
I would like to see. I feel like Nikki Bella would win it because the Bellas are pretty much the main event divas at this point. They might as well be Cena and Bryan in female versions.
Right.
But I think Nikki would. I would also like to see Tamina have a good showing in this match so that she can finally become a breakout star. Because she's kind of like just in the shadows at this point and not really showing us what she can do.
You know what I want to see, and it's never going to happen in a million years? I want to see AJ turn face in this. Like, let's assume that they're going to do it similar to the Cruiserweight Open, where two divas start the match, and every time one loses, they're eliminated and someone else goes in. What I want to see is AJ start off, be in the first two, and then just keep winning, and have it where she's winning, she's actually winning cleanly, and I don't know why, I don't think there'd be a reason why, but I just want to see AJ, being she's had the title, she's the record holder right now for the Divas title. Correct. For a number of days as champion, so maybe just have it where she's defending it and she's doing it cleanly because now she doesn't have Tamina's help. She's not cheating because really, how would she? And at first she's whining. Have her start off a heel. Obviously you can't change in the middle of the match if like she comes out and she's already like not doing AJ stuff. But, like maybe after going through the first 3 opponents, she's still kind of bitching and everything. But eventually she hits this mode where she's just doing her best to defend it, and then by the end she's like just getting her ass kicked so hard because I mean maybe her last opponent is Tamina, maybe it's Natalya, just because Natalya's the only wrestler in the women's division right now.
Right.
And like they again, like just driving the point home of how this would never ever happen. Like the final 2 is her and Natalya, and she's sitting there in the sharpshooter, and she's in the sharpshooter for like 5 minutes, never taps out, but eventually she passes out to the point where they got to call the match, and AJ never tapped out. She still lost the title. Yeah, they just recreate the Stone Cold shit, except with AJ and Tamina, and then just have her turn face on the same way Stone Cold did that time, just by being as badass as she could, and she still loses the title. So that makes her solidify her new leaf by stop being such a crybaby, because now she's like, she's fucked up in the head over not defending her title, so now she wants it back. And she's going to go through whoever she has to go through to get it. So she turns into this scrappy little badass diva.
Yes, yeah, the scrappers are some of the deadliest
ones. Now, do you know the big reason why this isn't going to happen? Because that would actually, other than the whole illusion thing, like give or take that, this will never happen because they're not actually giving a damn about the Divas division. All this is going to be is just everybody in it, and one of the Divas is going to win. It's not going to have any kind of significance, and maybe one of the Bellas will win. It's very likely.
That's not surprising. Bella's cover for Divas.
I'm just going to go with AJ, because she's the one who I'm rooting for, and obviously there's no rhyme or reason as to who could possibly win it, because if you're saying, oh, one of the Total Divas is going to win it, that still gives you like 7 possible people. So I'm just gonna assume that they're gonna let AJ have her WrestleMania moment. That's just what I'm going with. I'm gonna go with that. And by the way, just so you know, we've spent more time discussing this match than it'll probably actually last.
Well, unless it gets to the crazy moment where it is AJ and Natalya and she didn't tap out for like 5 minutes.
Oh, that'd be nice. I just know it's not going to happen. It's a Divas match. Time is money. We got Triple H matches to get more time for.
Right. Or what if they made the tag match on a pre-show to have more time for the Divas match? Ooh.
So speaking of Triple H stealing time from other matches, let's go right into his match with Daniel Bryan. There's so many things that could possibly happen here, and it's like it's almost unheard of. It's to the point where you don't want to believe that Triple H could win this match, but there's still a very real possibility. Mm-hmm. And I think that alone makes it a better build. If you're going into it, there's no way WWE can be this stupid. They've got to have Daniel Bryan win. But at the same time, you're going, it's still Triple H.
Yeah, it's if you look at Triple H.
I mean, honestly, I think, and I honestly said this exact same thing about the Undertaker streak matches with Triple H. Add Triple H, instant drama.
It's Triple H. I mean, you can't. It's not like he got weaker because he used to COO. He still actually strength trains and does stuff even if he isn't in the ring. And you don't just forget how to wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, so it's I mean, if he was fighting somebody like John Laurinaitis or some shit, then I don't know. Like if he was fighting Brad Maddox or somebody who wasn't a wrestler per se, but Triple H is like the final boss of the WWE.
Yeah, that's what he likes to build himself as. So
coming out to King of Kings.
So who do you think's gonna win?
Well, the obvious choice would be Daniel Bryan, but I'm thinking about the possibility of if Bryan does lose, would Hogan have that type of authority to make it a fatal four-way?
Um, no, I'm gonna take a third option here. I'm gonna go with, instead of Triple H winning, instead of Daniel Bryan winning, I'm gonna go with shenanigans.
Shenanigans, like they
Yeah,
both men shoulders were on the mat or some crap like that.
yeah.
I
I'm,
don't know.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go with shenanigans. I couldn't, like, as much as I would love Daniel Bryan to just win this match cleanly in an epic match. Uh, I still don't think that Triple H is gonna just let Daniel Bryan go on like that. I mean, whoever wins is going to have
They have to have
is
some
going to have to
drama.
be in the main event.
They have to have some sort of drama and storytelling to go along with it. It can't just be predictable, like, okay, this is the path that Bryan has to take. He,
Yeah,
I mean, it's Triple H, because when Triple H does a WrestleMania match, even if he isn't in the main event, I mean, hell, his match with Sheamus at like I think it was 26 was good, you know, because he fought. You remember the year he fought Sheamus when he wasn't in the main event?
no,
Wait,
no.
you
I
don't?
never saw 26.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think it was
I
26, but yeah, he fought Sheamus one year. It was when Sheamus was a champion going into Elimination Chamber, and Triple H pinned them, and then they built up a storyline around that.
yeah.
Like you remind me of a younger version of me or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't watching wrestling during that period.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Basically, I didn't start watching again until Sheamus was already face.
Oh, I see.
I never really got to see heel Sheamus, so as such, I can't really imagine it.
He started out as heel too. That's the main
Yeah,
thing.
like I saw one match that had heel Sheamus in it, and just looked so wrong to me.
Uh-huh.
Like, because WWE only writes two types of heels. They write the monsters and they write the cowardly heels, and I guess they didn't want to make Sheamus a monster, so he did, like, he ran out in the middle of the match. He stole the win, actually. It was like a triple threat match or something like that. It had Edge in it. I forget the other guy. It was like so far from my memory, but the Nexus interfered, and then everyone else in the match, including heel Edge, were
Uh-huh.
like helping. But then heel Sheamus came in and then stole the win after everyone was laid out and shit.
Right, right.
And like, looking at that, I was like, that doesn't look like Sheamus. Holy shit! Like, I'm used to him being, fella, not fucking, But I don't know. So yeah,
Yeah,
like I
he
said, for
used to be
this,
a fella.
yeah. So for this match, I'm gonna go with shenanigans. I don't think there's going to be a clean win, and I think it's gonna go on to be a fatal four-way in the main event.
Yeah, because if you're the COO of the company, you're not gonna probably keep your word 100%. You're gonna have some type of he probably has a backup plan if he was to lose.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he still wants to at least participate in that damn match because it's WrestleMania. It can be
Right.
no other. It could be no other point of the year, but if it's WrestleMania, that's when Triple H want to say, "I want to be in the festivities."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what other matches are we missing? Is it just the main event or what?
Shield versus
Oh yeah,
corporates.
that's right. It's gonna be the Shield.
The corporate dogs.
It's gonna be the Shield. There's no way that randomly thrown together team are gonna put a dent in the Shield.
I would have thought he would have got better partners. So nothing to take away from the Outlaws, but it's not convincing because the Shield is a legitimate unit.
Yeah.
And Kane and Outlaws is like, oh, okay, we're representing the Attitude Era. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very thrown together match. Like, it had really no build up as far as, well, the Kane Shield thing kind of had build up a little bit, but New Age Outlaws being in it was like a really last minute thing. It was just like, oh yeah, by the way, this is a match we're having.
Oh, you
The
didn't
end.
know?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
I'm
didn't.
really disappointed that we didn't get to see a Shield triple threat. Even if, like, they didn't even have to break up, they could have still had the triple threat. Like,
They gave him something to do united, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's cool and everything, and I'm sure it's not going to be a bad match, but I could just imagine the match that they could have had if it was triple threat.
Right.
And it wouldn't have had to be a breakup situation. It could have just been, like it could have been, it's time to prove which one of us, is the top dog out of us, for bragging rights. Like it would have made more sense to be for the title. Like you could have easily had it be for the title. And also, speaking of which, you know what I noticed they did with the Shield?
What's that?
Every member of the Shield had their era in the limelight. Like, if you notice at first, it seemed like Dean Ambrose was the one being heavily featured. And then, Roman Reigns was heavily featured for quite a bit, especially through the Royal Rumble. Dude, and now it really seems like Seth Rollins is the main guy right now.
I'm seeing it too.
Because he's getting a lot more mic time. He's the one that's speaking for him a lot now. They're actually showing us his motherfucking finisher. They gave it a name finally. Like I'm pretty sure he hit the finisher. He hit that finisher on John Cena, and John Cena kicked out. Back before they started caring about Seth. And I can't remember exactly, but I think someone kicked out of his finisher because no one knew it was a finisher. And just recently he used it, and they gave it a name. They're like, oh, he calls that the peace of mind. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So they're actually featuring fucking Seth Rollins now, and that's good. I like that, because now all three of the guys have had their moment. So now when they do break out, break up, it's going to be three good guys that have been featured. And I think it's good that they featured Seth later, because it's kind of more reassuring that way. Because Dean Ambrose is he's going to get over. He's motherfucking Dean Ambrose. He's got everything, except for he still has this kind of ragged look, but it kind of works with his character. But his mic skills alone are going to make sure that he's got a top spot eventually. And Roman Reigns, he looks like a motherfucking WWE superstar, so he was guaranteed. Seth Rollins, he doesn't, he's got a good look, but he doesn't have the look. And then his mic skills are not exactly amazing. It's his work ethic is good, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee you a top spot.
Yeah, because there's people who've been there for damn 20 years with good work ethic.
Yeah, so I think it's good that they're finally saying, yeah, hey, look, guys, we like Seth Rollins too. He's the architect of the Shield, So yeah, I think that's good news. I would really like, and we don't really talk about this as much when it comes to actual tag team matches, but what I would like is I do believe the Shield is going to win, but what I would like is to have Seth Rollins get the pin, because that would really help reinforce how good Seth is as an actual performer.
Yeah, it almost seems like they want everyone to have equal opportunity, so that one guy doesn't just seem like he's left out when they do have to split.
Yeah.
At least they look convincing during the group. They all test the waters at some point. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go with the Shield.
Cool. Yeah, me too.
All right. So we're pretty much unanimous so far with this particular list.
Taker versus Lesnar.
Oh yeah, how could we forget about the streak match? I'll tell you why, because it's not exactly that memorable.
It reminds me when Taker fought Mark Henry. It wasn't like a personal build up, this is personal. It's just another guy to take on the streak.
And I think it's really weird that I don't care that much about this, because really, it's supposed to be a spectacle match, and I can see that. I'm sure it's not going to be a bad match because you got two guys in there that are good, but it's just the one thing I didn't really want to see. It's two part-time guys, and that's the thing that's kind of disappointing.
That's probably what makes it feel that way, because it's two part-time.
Yeah, and at this point, the way I see this match is that there's no way they're going to end the streak, so I don't really care about who wins. And if Brock Lesnar does take the streak, then it's really just going to be a negative. So it's kind of like a who cares or why the fuck.
Like, well,
Uh,
you put all this time and effort into the streak, and now you're gonna let him take it.
yeah, as far as the win goes, like I said, I'm sure it's going to be a good match. Like I'm looking forward to it just by the whole spectacle of it all.
Right, right.
But it really does seem like it was just thrown together. There's no real reason for me to care about it, and it does seem like the only reason they've given us to care about it is that Brock Lesnar's this dude that can totally win, totally beat the street guys. Even though he lost to Triple H since he's been back. He's kind of barely. He relied on Paul Heyman cheating in order to beat CM Punk.
Right.
They're not. He lost to John Cena. They're not. Brock Lesnar is not this unstoppable dude.
He's pretty much the monster that can still get beat no matter what.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, he's a big dude and he's hard to beat, but he's been beaten. So
Right.
why are we supposed to believe that he can beat the he's not the final boss of the WWE, he's the super boss of the WWE.
He is
You know,
the Super Bowl.
he's not Sephiroth, Triple H is Sephiroth. He's Ruby Weapon. That's what
Yeah.
Undertaker. So if fucking
Ruby Weapon and Brock Lesnar.
yeah, if Brock Lesnar can only go even with Sephiroth, then how are we supposed to believe that he can take on Ruby Weapon?
Yeah, yeah,
That's just how I feel about it. I would have much rather saw a match that could have actually meant a little more, or a match that would have been a little bit more of a spectacle. I don't know.
I don't know. Undertaker was talking about you can't beat Depp, Texas, and the streak. So I really think, yeah, when he said that, I'm like, okay, his match is not gonna be this serious.
I mean, it's just a match that's, and I kind of respect this. What I'm about to say about this match. It's a match that's just supposed to be a good match,
Right.
and that's perfectly fine for the WWE. But as far as not, it doesn't really seem like there's any spectacular reason to care about it. They're just kind of going with, oh, it's the Undertaker streak. And that's cool and everything, but it's just supposed to be a good match, and I can respect that. I can't wait to see it, but when it comes to, remembering to talk about it, I mean, this is why I haven't talked about it, because it's not something that, you know, appearance-wise, it's not something that's spectacular. It's just going to be a good match.
It almost seems like they're skipping a year to lead up to another epic Taker match like Cena versus Taker, or I just thought about something. This is a wild thing to think about, but so say Cena did lose to Bray Wyatt, and he did happen to start going down a dark or a psychological road, and what if he ends up fighting Taker at next year's Mania, like if they didn't do Sting?
I don't think Sting is ever going to fight Undertaker at this point. I think that ship is sailed.
That's something TNA would probably do.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see John Cena versus the Undertaker next year.
Yeah, like giving him a reason, because if Cena is wondering what's left about his career and he's going through psychological issues because he lost to Bray Wyatt, or what if he said,
Yeah,
I know what I must do?
yeah.
You know, that makes more sense, because usually
They can even give it a year of build up like they did John Cena versus The Rock, and then they could put it in the main event. And if it's Undertaker's last WrestleMania, which I'm hoping it is, I'm hoping he doesn't stick around too much longer, just because he's getting old, man.
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping it's next year, make it John Cena versus the Undertaker in the main event. At this point, so far, the biggest main event in WrestleMania history, because you got the streak versus the guy, like the number one dude in the business.
It needs to happen, because they can't just keep dodging it forever because he's a good guy, you know? So
Yeah.
at some point he does need to cross paths, and then you remember he crossed paths with Taker a lot during the Ruthless Aggression era
Yeah.
and earlier times. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's not like they don't have no reason to ever fight.
Yeah, I mean, like that never happened though because John Cena totally never tapped out to Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever. John Cena's never tapped out.
Uh-huh. Right,
Never,
right.
totally never tapped out to Kurt Angle twice.
Ever.
So okay, so now I believe the only match we got left is the main event.
Right, right, yeah.
That's a lot of matches. I mean, like I guess it's not a lot of matches for 4 hours, considering I highly doubt each one of them is going to be 45 minutes, but that's still quite a bit of matches. It's a nice card.
I think it's a good WrestleMania card.
So we got the main event. We got Randy Orton versus Batista with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line, and third man being either Daniel Bryan or Triple H. And you could also say that it might be a fatal four-way.
That's gonna be interesting. Fatal four-way, dude.
You know what I kind of like about this? I'm pretty sure, and I can't speak from experience because it's not like I've watched every single WrestleMania from the get-go. But I think this is the first WrestleMania where the main event wasn't set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a liquid main event. Like the only thing for sure is that the title's on the line and it's Randy Orton and Batista. But whether or not it's going to be Daniel Bryan, Triple H, or both of them included is really interesting, considering it's the biggest match period of the year because it's the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But it's not guaranteed.
It still gives you that element of surprise, like this match is now a fatal four-way,
right?
Or something.
Yeah. So yeah, who do you think's gonna win?
Well, okay. Bryan is the obvious choice, But then when you look at it, if it is a fatal four-way, it's like it's gonna be a really damn good match because none of the guys in the match are really pushovers either. Because as boring as Orton is, he still can fight. Batista, I would think, he still can do some pretty good spots at this point. He's been back since the Rumble. I don't think he's that rusty anymore.
I really hope that's on the recording because you sounded like a robot for a second.
I did.
Yeah, a little bit.
Robot. I am not telling the truth.
But okay, so I'm just gonna go with Bryan for this one because he's got to win, man. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bryan is the obvious choice, but I'm just saying it'll be a good match. But yeah, Bryan, just from all the crap they made us sit through with this, he has to win. Yeah.
Yep. Also, I'm going to make a. I guess I can't call it a prediction, but I'm going to just say that I think that there is a % of a chance that CM Punk will show up and just do something. Like maybe he'll do a run in the main event. Maybe he'll be the reason why Daniel Bryan wins against Triple H. To set up an actual Triple H, CM Punk feud.
Like,
because I don't know, maybe
it was supposed to happen before, but they still can do it again. Yeah.
Right.
I do like that Triple H is in a position where he can still wrestle. He can be the corporate heel, and he doesn't have to just feel like he's in the office all the time.
Right. All right, so we're just about done with this here. We covered all the WrestleMania matches. I guess we should do our Diva of the Week now.
Yeah, we probably should.
I think I'm going to go with the greatest Divas champion ever and put AJ on the list.
Yeah, we never did AJ, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we'll never do AJ, but it's nice to dream. It's nice to dream.
That's not true.
How is it not true? We're never going to do AJ.
Well, there's a will, there's a way.
All right, so AJ is our Diva of the Week this week. We're going to go ahead and cut it here because we've been talking for a good long while here.
Yeah, fun show.
Yeah. It was all about WrestleMania, and for good reason. I mean, it's WrestleMania week. It's time.
Yes.
All right, that was our show. You have been listening to MAWS Talks Wrestling. We have been your hosts. I am Lunakage.
I am Glenburg.
And we will see you next week.
Peace.